meetings today, but we will finish another one earlier, so we can start now. Yeah. Perhaps I should introduce myself. My name is, my name is I'm responsible for the Bachelor of European Law School. David, your tutor, has sought my advice, sent me an email seeking advice because you had some concerns. And then we emailed as well, and you also indicated that you had some worries about how this was affecting your studies. We want to hear a little bit more. And then I thought, we have a number of meetings today with the study advisor as well, so I thought I'd ask Roy Jansen, who is one of our study advisors, to also join our meeting. I hope that's okay. Yeah? Okay.
Okay, don't worry. Thanks.
It's good that you were able to join us today. Paul, you have the email here that I sent you. David informed me that you were concerned about something that had happened in one of your tutorial groups, I think, that you're concerned that there are students spreading.
Yeah, I didn't explain it completely to David in the email.
Okay, well,
because
perhaps you can...
Yeah, initially the objective of the email was to know if he could help with whatever was said in class, but in reality the situation is more complex, and it has to do with social media. One of the main reasons why I joined the European Law School was that I had and I still have legal problems with people posting defamatory things about me on the internet, and so that happened before I joined, and it was done in how do I say this, in a systemic manner. So someone created a group online and dedicated the group to posting the negative things about me in the group, and then the group went viral at one point, and occasionally people who know about the group, they also post negative things there, because the admins of the respective group, they reward that, so they promote the people who talk badly about me in that specific group. So that happens on social media, and it started way before I joined the university here.
For years and years then?
Yeah, basically, I never managed to address the situation. The police did not help, and I didn't know what to do about it. And that was one of the reasons why I joined this study program. So initially I wanted to study business, but because of this and a few other things, I changed my career trajectory. So now I know that it happened again, and what I sent to David was something that I observed with his class. So I assumed that he would either know about it or he would be able to find out and do something about it, to one, to prevent it from happening again, and two, from not letting the situation grow.
Just for what did you observe that happened in his class?
Yes. So what happened? I got informed that some people from that class posted something, and it had to do with one of the girls that I'm working with on a project. And the usual reaction is for the people who post that thing to not want to discuss that with me because it's negative for them. So then I've been through this before many times, and to me, the main problem that initially I wanted to speak to the tutor, but this is probably better because it's we can address it to multiple, how do I say that? To the other classes as well in case it happens. The main reason why I wanted to discuss this with someone is that this prevents me from one, doing my work well, and two, going to school and going to university and being able to pay attention to what is being taught. So being able to pay attention to what is being taught and not have to worry about people posting bad things about you on the internet. This is a complicated sort of thing because things are posted and then they're deleted, and I do not have the evidence that people posted bad things, but I've been told, and then it's difficult to prove it because it happens online, so it's not something specific to David's class where they post something in the local group. It's something on Facebook that went viral. It's a closed group, and it happens there. So for me,
So just from my, sorry,
Yeah.
just from my, so there's a dedicated Facebook group, you're telling me, that posts stuff, bad stuff about you. Is that, am I understanding that correctly?
yes, that's the main idea. It's more complex than that.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's very difficult to explain the whole situation. I don't think that's necessary, but
No, just that.
the main idea is correct. So
Okay.
that's what basically happens. So they have, I think they call it private Facebook groups, where you need an invitation to
Yeah,
join.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so initially they made an open group where they did this, and it went viral. And after it got a lot of members, it closed the group and it made it private.
Okay.
So that's why it's difficult to have access to everything that's posted, and it's difficult to provide proof once someone does that. So then I get to know about it or I don't get to know about it, but either way then it's difficult to take action. So it's difficult to go to the police if I don't have evidence that people did something really bad, and if the evidence is incomplete, they don't accept the case and they don't look into it, and so yeah, that's basically the problem. It's difficult to provide an actual case that this is what was said, and then this happened, and then it went viral. And, so now I'm in the situation in which I don't always know what is being posted, what is being talked, and that's not, how should I say this, that's not the main problem. The main problem is that people are doing this, and this is anyway something that I want to address separately from university because it is a separate problem. So the people who made this group, they obviously they need to stop doing what they're doing, but that has nothing to do with the university specific because this group existed before. What I did want to discuss was about the things happening here. So I want to find some sort of way to ensure that I go to school and the people are not doing this sort of thing, and the people who are doing it, they see some sort of consequences for it because it's not fair to me. So if, for example, so there are different topics, but one that really annoys me a lot and it causes a lot of frustration is a series of stories about touching people. So how this works is I go somewhere, like I go into class, and the people who have access to this Facebook, to this social media group, some of them post negative things about me. So one of the things that they do is they pretend that I touched them in some sort of sexual harassment, but not quite sexual harassment because then they would have to take action. So they would have to go speak to someone. And they post that there, and then it is received as sexual harassment, and then there is cyberbullying, and there is defamation based on it. So all of these things lead to more serious problems.
Yeah.
If you understand what I mean.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking so.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that first about the Facebook group, right? I understand that part. And now you're telling me, like in the past few months, also fellow students also have access to this group and are posting stuff there. Is that what you're telling
Some
me?
of them, yes.
Okay. And just a stupid question maybe, but how do you know that? Because it's a closed Facebook group?
It is a closed Facebook group, but people do have access, and
Friends of you then maybe who, or
people that know me, and
okay.
so I get to know that
Yeah.
that stuff is being posted,
Okay, yeah.
but it's very difficult to actually have the evidence because,
Yeah,
like I said,
yeah.
they posted it, I don't see it, it gets deleted,
Yeah.
people
Okay,
don't.
yeah.
And this, the example that I just gave you with the sort of harassment type of false rumors, this is just an example, but it's something that really bothered me in the past, and in case this happened here, it would bother me even more. So that's important to want to prevent. So to ensure that people don't do this in the first place. And the second point, if they do it, then there have to be some sort of consequences, because this sort of how should I say, defamation and the
Actions, that's it.
and the harm is significant, so it has to be addressed. So I'm here without having specific evidence this person said this, but with the information that I know that some people from university did this, but I do not know the exact situation, and that's why I first asked David, if you are aware of this, I want to know more about it, or if you be able to talk to the respective students and see what is going on, that would be even better. So that's why I messaged him first, because he was there in the class and it's his class, so maybe he would know.
Yeah, I think following up on that, so the question, I understand that, definitely that there are students who are taking these kinds of actions, that they are engaging in actions that lead to cyberbullying, engaging in actions that are related to defamation, these kinds of things that you're describing. Those, for me, as in my role, means that I need to take a look at that from the perspective of the code of conduct. So I agree with you that then there needs to be consequences. I think that's fair to say. The difficulty that I have, just so that you're aware, is we don't know who those students are, which students I would need to speak with, for instance, and we don't know exactly how they got access to the closed Facebook group, or how they.
What I do know, and the things that I know are not 100%. So I cannot say 100%. These people from my class, they made up this exact story, and then they posted it there. But what I do know is that there was a situation about one of the girls that I worked with in a project. I wrote her name in the email to David. It's Yarin.
No, I don't have.
Oh, it's not an email from David. Okay, but for example, that would be one person you could talk to, or maybe, if not her, that someone else in the same class, because I assume, from my perspective, that so I haven't been to that many classes. I've tried to attend as much as possible, and this cyberbullying and defamation thing was one obstacle, but that's not the only reason why I haven't been. I assume that if one person from that class posted something, others, or at least some of the other people, found out or knew about it as well. Now, I don't know the groups in the class who talks the most, which people, but what I do know is that there was something about this girl that was made up and that was posted there, and usually it's always something very negative, because that is what the group is for. So it's never just a violation of privacy, for example. It's always something that's made up to be negative and to cause harm, because that is what the admins of the respective group promote. So if they don't post something bad, they don't get attention. Their posts are somehow hidden. So they don't. I don't know if that makes sense.
Do you know who the admins are? Do you know people from your perspective that are 100% in that group?
Yes. So initially, when they made the group, I know the people who made the group.
But they're not here because it existed before the
university.
So it's long ago.
This happens. So this situation is.
Do you have a year, maybe? Do you know? Do you have a year when the Facebook was made? Was last year?
It was 2017.
17. Okay, that's fine.
So
Okay.
this.
That's a long time ago. Yeah.
That is a very long time ago. Yes. So this started in my high school, and basically they made the group back then, and that's when it went viral.
Okay.
And after it went viral, they closed it and they made it a private group.
Yeah.
So from then on, it kept happening, but it happened irregularly. So occasionally, because it went viral and a lot of people saw it, and my face was posted there with the bad information, with the defaming information. So then the people who know about it, they see me and they see this face that was associated with that information, and they know that it was that I am the person from the group. So then if they want to get the attention that the admins offer, they also post the negative things. So that's how this cycle sort of kept
And then
happening.
probably someone in your previous class or that, someone this year, class before that, someone then probably just Googled you maybe and then found that group? Or because you do, if I understand correctly, you're telling me that one of the girl, one of your group projects, has now, is a member of the group.
I don't know if they are now at this moment members of the group, but you cannot find the group on Google. So if you Google my name, you won't find anything.
Okay.
It's a private group. If you did that before it was made private, you'd find it. But now, unless you know exactly how to find it and the admin approves your request to join, you're not going to find anything. So not at least not this specific information. So now I know this sounds a bit difficult because there's no clear things. This is what happened and this is what has to be done. But what my request is, and I don't know if it's better to talk to David about this because it was his class, so now the course is over, or if I need to talk to you, but the main two issues that I have, so these are related to university and not the bigger complex problem that I need to solve anyway, and I need to take action and address the root problem of this, but just within the university, I want to ensure that when I go to class, I can just go to class and focus on the lesson and not have to, I don't know, for example, be anxious and look left and right to see if someone made something up or if someone is doing something. So it's the element of being preventive, so to ensure that this doesn't happen. And the second point is if someone does this and the information keeps recycling in the group and it keeps causing harm, the respective people need to stop. And obviously, if in the case of the very negative types of rumors, there should be consequences for it because it's not normal to do something like this.
Yeah, I'm hearing two things that you're asking. I think the second is, what your Weber also just said, quite normal with code of conduct, stuff like that. When it's happening, I think we can really intervene. But I was thinking with your first request, because I think you're going to have new tutorial groups probably, right? With totally
That's
new
correct.
strangers.
Yes.
So I think it's very difficult, if I'm just thinking from our point of view, like how can we, you know what I mean? Prevent,
what action
going
to
to
take?
meet each other next week for the first time, maybe 12 new friends, you don't know, but so, you know what I'm saying? I think that what can we do
To prevent.
Yeah, no, do you have an idea about that?
I haven't entirely come up with a solution because
No,
I'm dealing with this in my own personal life anyway, so not just at university, just in general. So I don't have an answer to
No, I understand your
what.
wish, but
I think, so if I hear you, this what's happened in the context of what you think might have happened in the context of the university. I understand that this is a bigger
It's a bigger problem. Yes, that's correct.
But there is now there's an incident that connects to the university, to this group, that you were in. But that's, I think, is it recent that happens? That's happened? That it's just in the last. So when
exactly, was it your previous tour group, or was it September immediately, or?
So the incident. So what I understood is that the false information, the initial false information, was posted at somewhere at the start of the course, and then it evolved with multiple smaller continuations of the initial false rumors. But that again, it's usually when this happens, it does happen like this. So when a few people out of the community post something, then they continue to post afterward. So if they made something up in the first place and they posted, the usual trend is for them to keep going because they already did it once and
Yeah, so you received the information already at the beginning of the...
not immediately. So I was not aware of this right away, and again, it's very difficult to always be up to date with what is being made up, what is being posted, and also have the evidence that this is happening. So that's a challenge. That's a challenge to.
Because I'm wondering how you started your studies in September. So because part of what you're asking now is how can we help? How can we help you start the new course period, which starts next week, without you having what I think is having this constantly this idea of needing to look around to see whether or not someone is going to post something or recognize something. But I'm wondering how you started, because I think you start in September.
No, exactly. If you can,
you came to the study and was not worried about these issues.
This was always in the back of my mind because it happened regularly. So I didn't come here thinking about this. So, but it's been in the back of my mind because I know that it happened regularly. So it was expected out of a lot of young people. Some of them would do this. So I was always, I was never completely relaxed and either paid attention in the lesson or socialized or so on. So this was always in the back of my mind as just to keep in mind that this might happen. But when I do have the confirmation that it happens, then I'm more anxious about it because I already know that someone is doing it. So again, this is very complex to address.
It sounds really complex.
Yeah,
and also it's been going on such a long time. Has anybody had, and to be dealing with that, have you had anyone to help you or support? I hear you tried with the police, but is there any other support that you have, parents or friends, someone who...
That's not much there's not much that people can do, and this is, again, it's a systemic issue. So a lot of people are doing it, and there isn't one person that I can point to and say, this person can help solve the problem.
Perhaps help you and having to find some way
of addressing it.
Of addressing it, and sort of deal with the pressure that must come with this.
Well, yes, of course, the pressure is there because the cycle of this thing happens again and again.
Yeah.
So that's
what must be exhausting for you, right? To have this
it is exhausting, but
in
order to solve it, I can ignore it, but at one point that's not suiting, it's not feasible because it's sort of creates problems and causes harm. So again, this probably won't, the help, the solution won't come from within the university because the problem is outside of the university. But what I do want to ask you if it's possible for you to do anything to try to prevent this. So maybe, I don't know, you said there is a code of conduct. So if you would see this happening, the exact, this person did this, you'd be able to show the code of conduct and say this is not right and it must not happen. So
planning on doing at the start of the second semester always is to post again on campus, so the learning environment. I always remind our students again of the code of conduct. So there's a reminder there without, so not in context, in any kind of context, but just a general reminder. And you're of course always able to come to me if you have information about students who are violating the code of conduct. So if you have some more concrete situations, not wait too long, but to come to me and inform me, then I can act in my role. And I very much understand. And that's why I want to work together with you on that point. But I think, and that's why I'm glad that Roy is here as study advisor, because apart from all of what's going on, it's having an impact on your studies and you. And so I think it's good for us to see how we can support you as a person who's trying to study law. And I'm getting this idea from you that you're committed and you're passionate about studying law. And so I think it's important for us to see what support we can provide you in your study progress, so that you don't have this big thing, which you sound like you're dealing with on your own, weighing so heavily on you, and you can focus on your studies. That'd be something that we could work on together.
Well, from my perspective, so focusing on the studies and actually studying and doing the work, that's on me. I do that. This indeed is an obstacle. It is a problem, but I don't think that you or anyone else can help with this situation without directly addressing the problem. So I don't think that something changes. If nothing changes, then nothing changes. So it's the problem and the consequences of this, how should I call it, this series of this cycle that has to do with this Facebook group. We always, if it is there, then it won't disappear. So if it is not addressed, the problem stays.
Yeah.
So then.
Well, in Romania, because I see lots of European law school students, lots of first European law school students who kind of struggle, like, hey, getting used to the master university level, to the PBL system, to the exams can be quite specific. How they want to answers can be very specific. So I see lots of students in that first few months that are quite struggling. So I'm also really wondering, how was it for you? But maybe even go a bit back, like, what did you do last year, for example? Can you tell me what you did before this
in terms of study?
Yeah, for example, work. I don't know what you did. Where were you last year, for example?
So 2 years ago, I wanted to study business.
Okay.
But again, because of this situation, so this is one problem out of a series of problems that all have legal aspects that can be addressed. And as a result of that, I decided to change my focus regarding my studies. So law was not exactly my first choice. It's a nice study, but probably wouldn't have been my first choice. But I decided to do it because of this and multiple situations that have legal aspects attached to it. So this study program is useful for me anyway. So that's a very important aspect, and why I want to keep going with it. Because I know it will help me in the future, both with this cyberbullying and defamation situation. But in general,
you did business in the past then?
yeah, I studied 2 years of business.
In Maastricht also, or
in Eindhoven.
In
Eindhoven.
Eindhoven.
Yeah.
Well, 1 year, 2 years?
For 2 years.
For 2 years, okay. And then for last year, you were still in Eindhoven?
No, I had a gap year.
A gap year, okay. So you did 2 years business, then a gap year, and now you started
Yes, that's correct.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. And how was the first few weeks and months for you? Like, what I also hear a lot is it's quite difficult to find good housing in and around Maastricht. How was it for you?
No, these aspects are alright. So that's not there's not a problem related to housing or.
I don't know. Okay, that's fine for you. Not for you. Yeah. There are a lot of students are really struggling to find a good place, but that was no problem for you.
No, I mean, okay, that's not exactly what I mean, but what I want to say is that indeed there are other problems. So occasionally I have some financial problems. Occasionally I have other types of problems, but they are usually not serious, and I can address them on my own. So if I do have a problem that I need help from someone, I do go and ask. But these are not the problems that I do have now or that I need to address now. So we can discuss that as well, but it's not relevant to the situation and why I'm here.
No, I understand. And maybe it's not relevant to the part that you want to explain, and again, I'm acknowledging that, but on a more general level, like, hey, how are you in general? Know what I mean? What's going on in your life apart from this? But also interested, like, hey, how is the study going? So if there are, you say you have more problems, and of course you can elaborate as much as you want, of course, right? You don't know us that well, but if there are things, it might be good to also address them or at least talk about it, that we at least know who you are and see what kind of, because there are a lot of things in and around university that can support you and provide for you. Know what I mean? So it can help you a lot. Apart from this part we just talked about, right? It's and not or, it's and.
What do you mean? And?
I think what we're saying is the aspect that you're talking about. That you've got my attention, yeah, and I want to address that with you, yeah. Sort of the situation with so if there are code of conduct violations, yes, I definitely want to address that. So that's what we've been able to discuss, and I want to assure you on that. And I think what Roy is saying, that it's not that that's the only thing that we can talk about. We're also concerned, and this is a number of the conversations we've been having with students in these weeks and today as well, is talking about how things are going in their studies and what kind of where they're struggling for whatever reason. Perhaps we can talk about what those reasons are, sort of see how your studies are progressing, where there might be a conversation or sometimes there's just some advice that we can give in order to support you further in your studies.
So
and that's why we're also here.
General.
In general, for example, I mean, how's social life? Were you able to make some friends maybe, or go out maybe, have a drink with someone? How is that going?
Well, most of my life right now is focused on what I presented to you is one issue. There is a series of issues that most or all have legal aspects that I want to address, and most of my life revolves around solving these things.
Okay.
But the one thing that's so again, it's a complicated situation, and my personal life is also complicated because of that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So
it sounds really exhausting. I mean, if you're telling me that you're constantly trying to find solution to whatever problem, at least you're finding solutions to a problem, that must be overwhelming.
That's but that's not the main issue. So indeed, finding solutions to problems is overwhelming, but the problems cause me. The problems cause problems. So that's the main point. So they need to be addressed either way. But again, I don't think that you can help with most of the things that I need to address, and most of them they are not related to the university anyway. And again, regarding general things, like you said, rent or finance or this sort of things are not an emergency. They're not a problem. So I don't want to. I don't think it's needed to discuss them. The other legal legal situations that I have and that I need to address are also if there's any legal expert here that could help with a specific situation, I'm more than happy to ask for the help because I need it. But in terms of going to the lessons and studying and going to exams and do group projects and so on, so the actual university work that I have to do, the only situation that I think you could help with is this cycle of people posting negative rumors that are false about me on the internet. And again, so that's basically the reason why I'm here. It's want to try to prevent it, even though I know that it's not possible to force people. If they want to post stuff, they will do it anyway. But the idea is to try to prevent it as much as possible, and when it does happen, someone should be there to say, this is not right, here's the code of conduct, what you did is negative, you shouldn't do that, and if you do it, something bad happens. So if there is a negative reaction to doing that action, then people will stop doing it because they see that's having negative consequences. So that's one of the reasons why I'm here to talk to you. Because if you do see someone, maybe someone, I don't know, sends you an email and I've seen this written about Paul, and then you take action and you say, this is not right, it violates the code of conduct, you shouldn't do this, and these are the consequences. then the same person or the other people will not do it because they know that something bad will happen afterward.
Yeah.
So, and this will result in less people or no people doing the negative things. So that's kind of what I'm trying to go towards.
And just, so how do you see then, for example, next week? I think in the educational tutorial groups, because are you able to just attend, or are you already thinking or worrying in your head how it's going to be, or are you going to have a fresh start, for example?
Neither. So
Neither.
Initially the plan is to attend as much as possible. I know that I'm not able to attend all the classes because again, I have a lot of things that I need to work on and try to solve, but I'm trying to attend as much as possible. But on top of that, this specific issue is an obstacle as well.
Mm-hmm.
So when I do go to class, I'm not going to class thinking only about people spreading false rumors, but I also do not go to class thinking, yes, I'm going to class, I'm just going to pay attention and it's going to be a fun time, because I know that the norm is once people start posting in a community and they talk to each other and it spreads, the trend is for either more people to join or the same people to post again and again. So
but in the past month, the tutorial groups, I mean, you're telling me you weren't able to attend all of them. There was some mandatory attendance, so I can maybe understand. But it's more like if you were going, were you able to prepare? Were you able to be part of the discussion, stuff like that? How was that going?
When I was part of the discussion and when I prepared, it went well from that perspective.
Okay.
But that was not always the case, and that's on me as well, because sometimes I just didn't prepare. But that has to do with me. I have to prepare better. But again, it's also related to this series of situations. So if they wouldn't exist, I know I'd attend more and I would pay attention more and I would do better. But this is not, how should I say?
But it does worry me.
Yeah,
It worries me a lot because I'm just curious, Paul, because we know that it's very important for our students to be attending tutorials. We generally see that students who attend regularly, that they do better, that they pass their assessments. So I'm just curious how your study results are going so far.
So there's no answer.
They could be better. That's,
what does that mean, Paul? That they could do better?
For example, I had an exam today.
The reset, I think, then for
constitutional law. Yes. So that's an example. I've done definitely much better than last time, but I do know that I could do even better than this. So this is one example. Another example is the class, David's class.
Yeah.
We had I think 8 or 9 tasks to complete. The ones that I did complete, most of them were well, but there are 2 or 3 that I just didn't do at all. So then I would have to do them.
You have to remedy them, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So when
and private law, that's the other course that you have.
Private law, I think I passed the, how do you call it, the midterm and failed the exam. So it's the same sort of situation. Yeah.
So then, really want to see what we can do here, Paul, because I'm very concerned then that you might be facing a negative binding study advice.
Are you aware of the binding study?
Yes, I am aware of it. No, I know this is not, I'm not trying to say that this posting in the Facebook group is entirely to blame for bad results in school. So I am aware that I need to do better either way. So indeed it affects my studies negatively, but that's not the only reason. So if I so I can do better than this, and it doesn't have to do with this Facebook posting. But the fact remains that it negatively affects my study.
No, but it sounds like there's a lot more that's affecting your
exactly.
house.
Thinking can be,
So there's a lot more. Which is important. looking to help us.
Yeah, I'm looking to help, right,
It's
yeah.
not a-
It depends on the month, but about 30 to 40 hours per month.
Per
Per
month,
month.
that's
10 per week. It depends. If I need a bit more, I work a bit more. If
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not needed, I work less. So
Okay.
it really
Oh, you
depends.
have, with your employer, you have that freedom then to be able to do
Yes,
that.
yes. So
Okay.
it depends. I did that also to be able to attend the studies, even though I haven't done that as much as I'd like to. But again, it's so the studies, the negative results of my studies, or some of the results that are negative, are not entirely to blame because of this Facebook thing that I explained it to you. So I know that I can do better and I could study more, and I want to study more because again I want to complete the study. But this thing, it does negatively affect my studies and my life. So it's important to address it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But, so it's now looking to see, because I think I heard you say, so there are a number of issues. It's a much more complex situation than just, this is an important aspect of it, but there's, and I'm wondering whether there are some concrete things that we can do, or steps that that we might be able to help you formulate
I can
to help take some of those, how to find help or support to take some of those things away.
Okay.
How the broader problems that you're dealing with, so that you do have the time and the space to be able to focus on your studies. Because if this is if a number of problems are arising that are getting in the way of you being able to prepare and to attend, and I believe you when you say I can do better. So you're capable of doing that. But it sounds like there are a lot of things that are taking away so much of your attention and the exhaustion of dealing with these problems, that you're not able to meet that potential to be able to show what you're capable of doing. And so now I want to explore, I think maybe, Roy, if there are ways in which we can say...
I think I'm not, I agree with you, I'm not, could you, if you want, maybe elaborate a bit more about the several smaller problems? I just heard you say sometimes financial problems. Maybe.
They're not smaller. So I can provide a bit of perspective.
If you like,
the general types of problems that are day-to-day problems, such as you said, rent and money and so on, they're not a problem at the moment. And even when they were in the past, it was not something major. It was not something that completely prevented me from getting work done. So that these are not a problem. The series of problems that I was talking about are just as serious. So they are related to court cases, to past court cases, and a wrong decision that was taken in the past, and my attempt to address that in order to obtain justice regarding these past cases. And this happened a long time ago. So many of these happened a long time ago, from 2017, when this group was created. And again, there are different situations, and some of them require going to lawyers and investigating specific things that I need for those court cases. And that I don't think you can help with that. The only way in which I think someone could help is if someone who is very specialized in the specific part of the law that I need, then that person could probably give me advice on what type of lawyer to look for or where to ask for the exact things that I need. But in terms of what you could do, so I went through all of this before I came here, and my conclusion was that the things that you can help with are related to this sort of defamatory cycle in which people post the negative things in order for the admins to promote. So yeah, this was mostly the problem for which I wanted to talk.
Can I ask which area of the law are we looking at?
for the past cases.
For the past cases, were you looking for us, or maybe there is someone here within the faculty?
I hope so. It's so in 2017, I was accused of theft.
Okay.
One of my high school colleagues took my phone.
Yeah.
We were at a party, and I had spoken a bit too much, and I was sort of sleeping. And he took my phone, and he uploaded some of his files on my phone without me knowing it. And then he sent those files through WhatsApp to other people, and I think for Facebook as well. I don't remember the exact situation, but basically he put the files from his phone on my phone. He sent it to people, and he created an entire storyline. But the main point was that the action was categorized as theft, and I knew that I could prove my innocence about it, but I was not allowed to, and the trial and the outcome of the trial was not completed properly, and I didn't have a say in it. I was not given the chance to show my evidence and to defend myself properly. And on top of that, there were a series of other extremely negative things. Some of them also categorized as serious crimes, but they did not make it to court because they were false, but they were used to defame me on the internet. So that's how this group that I told you about appeared. Those very negative things that were made up were also made up to seem interesting in order to get attention and to cause harm, and that's why the group went viral. So these situations are sort of interrelated, but then again the specific case has to do with criminal juvenile law and the exact situation that happened back then. And right now, one of the main issues that I deal with is trying to find that case, because I went to the court and they told me that they cannot provide me the documents of the case, and that's problematic. And I'm trying to find a lawyer who is able to request it, because they told me that I need a lawyer to request it properly, and it's I've been running in circles trying to find someone willing to do that in this very unusual situation. Because when I tell a lawyer that the court case was not done properly and it's a very complex situation, they usually do not want to get involved, and consequently they don't ask for it, and then I have to keep going until I find someone. So that's the central point of the series of problems that I need to solve. But then again, what has to do with the university is the part with the internet group. So that's.
So then, just for my sort of summary, you understand the part that we're talking about, but as I understand correctly, the rest of the week is trying to attend to journal groups, but then in the afternoon or in the evenings, you really need to focus your time on those other legal issues, let's say it like that. Is that correct?
Sort of. So I'm trying to spread my time through everything, but sometimes I just end up spending most of my time on these things and less on other important things such as the studies. I also try to use the studies to better understand the situation and be able to do some of the work myself instead of hiring a lawyer, because it's also expensive and it's very.
Maybe stupid question, but do you also have fun? Do you have some nice hobbies or sports for during the weekend to relax a bit about getting out of your head? Because I understand if you're doing all this stuff, your focus must be.
I do have hobbies, and I did enjoy them in the past, but with this sort of, let's call it phenomenon, this cycle of bad things happening, and that hasn't really been the case. So that's indeed extremely negative, but it's just the situation.
Overtaking you then.
So, it is the situation. It's so it has to be addressed, and to be honest, I don't think I could do something fun just for the sake of doing something fun when I can address this. So that's the sort of my mindset. But also this series of problems, they cause harm, and they don't make it feasible for me to go there and have fun because they cause problems.
Yeah, yeah, no, I understand.
Especially if, for example, you mentioned social events and so on. It's not really convenient to go somewhere, go to a party, and then when people post the negative things, they take all the fun out of it, and it creates this sensation that that maybe I shouldn't go because people do this really bad thing, and then if false stories appear that I've done and I said really negative things, and they go viral, it makes me not want to participate. If you know what I mean?
But it's not like one good friend to grab a beer with, or one good family member to do something, to go for a walk, or are there a few people around you to sort of support you?
There is no one that can help me, and so I haven't found someone to be able to help with the situation. That's one, and
the situation, just to go for a walk.
Just to go for a walk. No, that's a good question. I haven't done that in a very long time because of this situation.
Okay.
And now, from my perspective, I find it very difficult because it's also at one point it's difficult to trust people when this happens. And I cannot know right away who's going to do that, who's not going to do it. And I had situations in certain communities, such as high school, when my entire group of friends did this. So then, yes, it makes it
hard to trust people.
Yeah. But yes, again, this is a very complex case, and I don't ask you to help me address that because
I think you have a better picture.
So it's basically a complicated and not so nice life in general because of this. But in terms of university work and studies, what you can do to help is only just. So that's why I'm here. I'm not asking you to help me solve the entire problem because I know you cannot do that probably, even if you want to. But this specific aspect, if you can help and if you can address it and maybe raise awareness or do something about it, that would mean a lot, and it can also solve a lot of problems.
It sounds like Al said it a couple of times, but the more you, I appreciate how open you are about what's going on in your life. And again, I come back to what we said earlier. It sounds overwhelming. It sounds exhausting. It's starting to take the joy out of life, out of day to day. And I'm wondering. Have you, for instance, been able to see your GP, to discuss maybe if there's some support that you can get in order just to help? I can't solve all the problems, but perhaps help you find some way of approaching them, or at least be able to put them aside for a moment so that you can also think about you and your life and having some enjoyment in that, so that you have that energy to be able to put it into the things that are important to you. Is that something that you've done?
I know what you mean. I know. So I am aware of what you mean, and I know that that's important, of course. But I find it very difficult to do that in the context of what is happening. So of course it's important to take care of personal, very intimate personal life and other important things in my close. How do you say this? In my
to look after you.
To look after me, yes. So I know what you mean with that, and I know that in most cases that's completely correct, and that's probably important with me now as well, but that's not something that it's entirely possible to do in the context of everything that's going on. So
can I ask why not?
Because these things, so this series of problems, they actively cause more problems, So, for example, if people are posting bad things and then it turns into cyberbullying and then it goes viral and so on, then that makes it hard to do most of the things that require going out and seeing a lot of people and if you know where I'm getting to. So then I have a very restricted things that I can do that in order to avoid this sort of situation that is very specific and unique to this environment that's usually not present anywhere because this doesn't really happen.
Might it not be nice to then have someone next to you, someone who can help you with that, huh?
Untangling all the things.
No, I know it's very complex, and I've mentioned it in an incomplete manner, so it might not make sense completely.
No, I mean not for us. I mean also for yourself. You have all these things in your head, and of course you know yourself quite well. But I think what Nicole also means, and I kind of also wish that for you, like someone next to you that you can trust, that at least you have a relationship that you can bond a bit. And that can help you a bit with untangling all these thoughts constantly running in your head.
So you're not referring to someone to specifically help with the situation, but someone to be next to
the general
someone to help you.
Yeah, with your exactly, with all the things running in your head.
Yes, I'm aware of what you mean. Again, it's similar to what you said. So I look after myself and my close, intimate, personal life and so on. But again, that's. So it has to do with the bigger complex problem, but it's difficult and it's not feasible to do that properly in this environment.
Is it the trust? Is it the trust issue that you're referring to now, or
it's not? Well, you could call it eventually. It's a trust issue as well, but it's not actually a trust issue. But it's what is happening in this environment. But now that again, that's very complex, and I don't ask you to help with that, so that's not.
No, I understand that, but people kind of worry about you. You know what I mean? In that way that we think it's so much going on in your head that it's difficult for us. And I mean, when you say that there's not actually no one really next to you to help you with this. So yeah, I'm kind of. Yeah, I don't want that for you. You know what I mean? We don't want that.
I know that's a very negative thing, but for so that's in a normal context, and it's difficult to explain. But in this environment, I started university in September, but this let's call it phenomenon because it's something unique that I'd never heard to happen to anyone before. Was happening for many years. So I've been through this cycle, I've been through this environment for a very long time. So I know that what you say perfectly applies in 99% of situations, and it's difficult to explain that it might not apply entirely or in some cases at all in this specific case that I'm experiencing. But I don't want I mean, I could, but I don't think it's helpful to go further and describe everything that's happening outside of university and that is specific to this case. Because one, I'm certain that unless you know someone who's specialized from the school, from the department of law that can help, unless you recommend me to someone, you can't really help. And besides that, for you specifically, my only two requests were, so I thought about this before, so what you asked me now, and I think the only two things that you could really help with is to prevent this from happening in the classes that I go to. And when people do it, like I said with the girl from my project, it makes it difficult to work with a girl who do that, and it's really negative. So in either case, there should be some sort of consequences for doing that. And once someone experiences negative consequences, it conditions everybody to stop doing it because they see that's basically what they.
Yeah, I understand your focus. I kind of get the feeling you also understand what we're trying to say, but if I understand correctly, you're saying like it's too complex for me right now to give that more attention.
No. So that's not what I'm saying. So indeed, the situation is very complex, and I only explained it in a very short and summarized way, which might not entirely make sense because I didn't explain it properly. But the point is that even if I do explain it completely, it's extremely unusual. So I'm certain that no one has been here before and said that they're experiencing this, because I've never heard anyone say this either. So that's one, and the two, I don't think that you are able to help, because I need
No, but that's what I think what we're both saying, or trying to say, is that we're not probably the ones that can help you with that. But as Nicole said, maybe, like I think the first start is a GP has so many things and in his office or to help you or refer you to, that I think that's what we're both thinking. Not here, not us, but someone who can help you with all that sort of stuff. And for me myself, I'm now searching why, at least if I'm understanding correctly, why that's also not an option for you right now.
So I'd like to see if you could perhaps, I'm wondering whether you've had the possibility to speak to your, in Dutch we say the huisarts.
Do you have a GP, for example?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That's good.
What do you mean though?
What was trying to say, like you have so much going on, so much in your mind, all these legal cases all the time, 24/7, almost all the time. That has some impact on your well-being, mental well-being, able to focus, and to talk about studies as well. So that we're also trying to find something for you to able to focus also more on the course content as well, apart from your part you also elaborated on. So someone to stand next to you for the coming weeks, months, maybe at least have someone to turn to help you with all this kind of stuff.
To redirect the focus.
Yeah, exactly, to help you, because you also have blind spots for yourself, and I always say someone to find puzzle pieces, like why are you, how do you function, what are the patterns, first find the puzzle pieces, then lay the puzzle together, to have much more overview, like okay, this is what I'm always going right, and then you're going to learn, okay, stop, we're going to go left, we're going to go back, we're going to go over, we're going to go under, you know what I mean? But you can't do that by yourself, you need someone to help you find those puzzle pieces, that's one.
So that to shift the mindset.
Yeah.
Yes, that's one possibility to change how I perceive things, but that doesn't solve any of the issues that are present.
That's the question. I think that's what we're
not
trying.
One thing or the other.
I think it's both. Yeah, exactly. If you walk both lanes.
If you might it not be the case that if you're able to sort of work with someone on your mindset, on being able to sort of create a bit of space for yourself, so that you're not completely focused on all of these things, but can then take a bit more perspective and understand and perhaps deal with it a bit more. But that then also allows you to look at these problems and perhaps look for further solutions, apart from hopefully helping you feel a little bit more joy and happiness. It also will allow you to spend your time having a bit more control over how you spend your time. I think that's what we're
managing time a bit better. So that's indeed one way or another I do have to manage my time a bit better and do a little bit more for school.
And more fun stuff. Nothing that's
yeah, it's for me again. I don't want to explain everything, but it's not really doing fun things now. It's not really fun because of this. But I do understand regarding the studies. I know they gotta put more time into it, so that's for me to do, and I know that one way or another I need to do it in order to pass the year and pass it decently, not with 5.5 and 6. So that's one key aspect that I know I have to look for, and the results speak for themselves. There are a couple of things that I did really badly in terms of results, and I need to get it to a better level. So I know that, but then again, it's.
I just want to understand a little bit what, Pastor, I'd really like to understand why, Pastor, I'd like to invite you to make an appointment with your huisarts, with your GP, with your doctor, just for the purpose of helping you.
No, but I don't need a GP for this.
No, but I'd like,
Do you see our perspective?
Not really, because the things that so managing time and looking from different perspectives I can do myself.
But that's not completely true all the time. Every person has blind spots. We're so convinced by our own thoughts that and there's no one. That's why I'm also asking sometimes a friend or a family member or partner can balance you out and say, but did you think of this or did you think of that? But it sounds a bit, you're so focused on kind of stuff that's really digging in for, yes or no, of course, exactly. But it's very hard to zoom out, and there's no one counterbalancing you. And I do think you will be much more happy, productive, all that people studies, but in general life, if you have someone to untangle your thoughts a bit more and your processes and your focus.
I do know what you mean with that. So to say this directly, it's so there is no use in seeing the GP. I know what you mean, and I am aware of that. I eventually look at the bigger picture, and indeed, there's a lot of value in seeing the problems and seeing my life from different perspectives. So that's always good. It's always positive. It allows for more solutions, for broader perspective, to make a plan for the future and manage everything. So that's the point is indeed correct, but seeing the GP is not, and I already know that. It's
why are you so convinced that it won't do anything for you?
Because it's not needed. Everything that they can tell me, I can do myself, and I can plan my life myself. But again, it's something very specific that.
It sounds a bit like what gave it a name?
chicken and egg.
It's just saying.
It's literal.
Yeah, that I think, and if I understand correctly, you think I have to solve these problems, and then the rest will solve itself, and we're turning it around. We think you should first work on yourself, and then those problems will work themselves out. You know what I mean?
No, I do know what you mean, but that's not the case. So I'm gonna say this, I don't know, directly, so clearly. So there is no use in seeing the GP. I am able to detach myself in the situations and see it from all perspectives myself. There is that's the end of story regarding this. Now, regarding the actual problems that won't solve themselves if I look away from them, I do need people to not to post the defamatory false claims about me on the internet, and I really want to know who I can talk to investigate this specific case from David's class, because I do know that something was a few negative things were made up and posted about me, so I would really like to address this. And again, the code of conduct is important. It's
and there was a student there, you mentioned the name.
Yes. It's not written like this though.
Not written like that.
I can write it, yeah.
Not J-A?
It's a Y.
Oh, it's a Y. Okay. Great. So if I can I ask her?
I think that would be good, but I would suggest to talk to David first, because it's his class, and I don't know what he knows or if he knows anything, so that's always a good idea. And then I know that the false stories that were made up had to do with her, so I have reasons to believe that she made up some of these false stories. So then talking to her would indeed be very useful. But I'm not exactly sure who else you could talk to because I don't have exact names. These are the exact 4 or 5 people who did something. So, but indeed, if you can address the situation, investigate it, and just a little bit or pass it to the person who can do that and see what is going on and what happened, that would mean a lot to me because first the situation be addressed. So whatever was made up, I can confront it, and I can say I didn't do this, or I did, or I didn't actually do anything. But that's the. So after the end of the course, because initially I didn't know that something happened, but eventually I addressed this to her, and she has been very unresponsive to it. So I don't think if I contact her again and ask her the same thing, I'm certain that she wouldn't give me a different answer. So I think it's better if you do that, because so from my perspective, I know I did nothing wrong, so I just went to class and then went home, so I didn't do or say anything. But I do know that something was made up and posted in a group that has to do with her, and it makes a lot of sense that she was involved in it. So if you want me to give one name of who you should talk to, that would be her. But again, there could be other people, so I don't exactly know what happened.
This is some of the things that I sometimes in my role. I do look into these things, and so I'll see where we. And I think it sounds like a good idea. And now you've laid it with put it on my table. This thing, and that's what I'm here for, which is good.
Thank you.
So I invite you perhaps sort of I think it's wise to say, okay, I'll leave it as far as Yarini is concerned, not to ask the same kind of things. I'm hearing that you're saying she's not very responsive.
So what happened is I talked to her, I think 2 or 3 times, and I got the same answer from her.
In person or?
No, after the course is finished, so this was digitally.
Oh, digital.
But then, since I got the same response back, so I know that something was made up, but since she gave me the same response every time, I stopped asking her about the same thing, because there's no point in, if you know what. So, but on the other hand, if you address it and you find out exactly what happened, then it's different, because we can, so first I can be informed of the exact situation, and then if something negative was, multiple negative things were made up, I can clarify the situation, and then, as you said, apply the code of conduct and ensure that this doesn't happen again, because that's serious. It's a serious situation.
I think we can. I'm going to follow up on
Yeah.
that.
Thank you. Sure.
That would be that should you so following this conversation, and in the coming weeks as you're starting into the new course period, that you let me or Roy know how things are going, and if you encounter, that's what you're saying. Oh, I've thought about the conversation, or I'd like to talk a little bit more. That you do that. That you
of course.
You contact us and see how.
Keep us in the loop.
Yeah. See how things are progressing.
Okay. Sure, I will let you know, and if someone informs me, of course, I will give you the information that I get from people. But initially, I wanted to ask you for that, to investigate and see exactly what was said, and in order to address the situation. Because, like I said in the beginning, if one person is experiences I don't know, a negative reaction from doing something negative, then everybody else sees it and they don't do it, and that's very important to me. It's why, So if there's any update on the case, please let me know for my email.
And if you have concrete information, then you can respond to us or send me an email.
Yes, that's important to me, to address this, stop it from happening, at least in the within the university. So.
Okay, thank you for your time.
En voor open en zo.
complex situation. I didn't present it properly because it would take me 2 or 3 hours to say everything. But the main aspects, what is related to university is this. So if this would be addressed, it's perfect.
Any more cycle or yeah? Is it no university or?
Not really.
What do you know?
Oh,
That's not close.
Depends how you travel it.
Yeah, I think it's right. These notes are right.
And the good part is that the way to market the bus, they really bike lanes, super scooters, just straight ahead.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
very
yeah.
long
That's
straight.
true.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't have to stop the traffic lights or anything, just start and keep going with 40, 5 or whatever.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Looking forward to hearing the update.
Have a nice evening.